Greetings and salutations, all. Welcome back to Jareeve's Wonderful World of Oscars. And here we are for the Oscar recap. We did a predictions video a couple weeks ago. The awards were from the time we're recording this was a couple days ago. And we have a good amount to say. So I'd like to welcome back to the podcast my good old buddy, old pal, Mr. Dickey here.
Oh, thank you for having me back. It's good to be back.
Yes, I wish it was under better circumstances.
Yeah, I'll try to keep the complaining to minimum. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's not going to go well. So before we get into the category by category, which will be way faster than the other podcast, we will not go as long. Let's just talk about what happened.
Yeah,
without getting too specific yet.
That seems pretty fair.
Overall, a joke of a year that was a result of a joke of a year.
Yeah, that seems pretty accurate. Just all the winners. I mean, there are some ones that are deserving, sure.
Yes,
but a decent chunk was felt like the Academy was really pushing just to get viewership and not to actually focus on the awards themselves.
And I don't think they got much viewership as much as just more of a laughing stock.
I would absolutely
People
agree.
were just, even before the show, all the things they're changing and then taking back over and over. It's like they're just taking shots in the dark. They don't know what they want to do. And they're they're begging us to like them and to still be relevant. It's that's not how you do it.
At least they had it was Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, and Maya Rudolph. At least they were joking about it being hostless, and I thought that did play well. And overall, I thought the hostlessness played well, and it kept the show moving along pretty fast.
Yes, I will say that I liked it better without a host. They just no pointless jokes that go nowhere, no awkward silences that as we wait for the next joke to introduce something. They just kept going. They handed out awards and
it
worked better.
I did appreciate that there are no awkward silences.
There were some awkward moments later, but
more or less I was trying to make an awkward silence now and then.
But fix a few things and the show could be less than 3 hours.
They were cruising along. I think clocking in at about 3 hours 20
something like that, but usually
minutes.
They hit 4.
They usually hit 4. And that's why I appreciate it went a lot faster, and they were able to get in more awards. And yeah, I still think they could, if they had to, cut down on some of the speeches, but it wasn't too obtrusive. It wasn't too annoying this year, at least.
And opening with Queen and Adam Lambert was fine.
I did like that.
I like that. It was a good way to open it. A short opening, no long monologue. They jump right into the awards. I think in the first hour we had at least 5 or 6 already. It was wow.
Yeah. No, I could tell right from when they started they were picking up the pace this year because they were trying to shut down any of the people that were complaining that the Oscars went on for too long. They were definitely trying to cut back with that.
And they could do better if they get rid of the Best Picture nominee introductions. Those are pointless. They added those, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
And everyone in that auditorium knows what they are. A lot of the viewers who actually care and are watching know what they are. The people that this is for are the 5% that watch and don't know anything. There's nothing else to do. There is really not a point to do this. There is
absolutely zero. That's true. I completely agree with that.
To have a presenter go up there, introduce a film, show the trailer, and that's it.
And that's all it was.
It's I know there are only 8 nominees, but do we have to? I mean, the introduction with the trailer was 3-4 minutes. Times that by a good half hour of the show was just introducing a movie that everyone's known about. Most of these have been out for months.
Oh, exactly. If they cut those out, they could easily get the show down to about 3 hours. And I think 3 hours for an award show is not bad. That's pretty reasonable when they actually show you all the technical awards that are won. It makes sense when you have a total of 24 categories to show awards for. You're going to need a lot of time. 3 hours seems pretty reasonable to me.
Yeah, and just that's what it really is. You cut those out, their show would clock in at what? Aquaman time?
Yeah.
2 hours, 40 minutes. I think that's doable.
Yeah.
There are way too many commercial breaks, but that's everything
nowadays.
There's
There's nothing you can get around with commercial breaks when ABC owns the Oscars and they're already sucking every nickel, diamond, penny out of you that they possibly can.
Yeah, so there's no fixing that. But
I will say the one quick thing that I appreciated from the commercials, it wasn't much, but we got a teaser for The Irishman. And I was excited when that actually popped up.
I was waiting for the video to play, and it was just the bullet falling, and I go, that's a good teaser.
Yeah.
Because now we're interested, and we want to see more.
It actually, I mean, granted, I don't know how much of a general audience was watching this that did not know about that. But for whoever that was, now they know.
Oh, they announced it like 5 years ago.
That is true.
Right after Wolf of Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
They said he was going to make something called The Irishman. Then he made Silence, but it's so long, and it's the most expensive movie he's ever made.
It is. It's over $200 million.
And Joe Pesci coming out of retirement. They're having De Niro, Pacino, and Keitel all together with Joe Pesci.
That is a powerhouse. I am so excited.
And it's the first time Scorsese has ever directed Pacino.
It is.
That's what feels so weird.
Yeah, and it's for Netflix.
Yes.
That's just wild.
Select theaters, too, to be up for awards.
Of course, too.
That'd be nice to see it in theaters, but we'll see what happens. I'm super... And Ray Romano's in it.
Yeah, Ray Romano's in it, too. Talk about someone you haven't heard of in ages. He's coming back for some reason. So.
Well, I mean, he was in The Big Sick.
He is in The Big Sick, but...
He was in a couple shows, like Men of a Certain Age. Huh. There's another... Like, he's been around, just you'll never get to where you were late 90s, early 2000s.
He's not going to come back to that.
Well, he still does an Ice Age movie every 3 years.
True. That is... Yeah, I forgot about those.
Well, we better jump into... We're going to go category to category. Just like last time, it'll be much quicker. And our first category was Best Visual Effects, and the winner was First Man.
Yes, it was.
Both of us were wrong.
Yeah.
Your thoughts first.
I'm not mad that I'm wrong. I think I'm glad First Man got something, because it deserved, in my opinion, it deserved much more.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad that it at least won this. I can see where they were thinking that this was better than Infinity War. I get it. I thought that they were gonna say for sure, finally Marvel can have an award.
Which they did, but just for the lesser movie of the two.
That is true, yeah.
But First Man makes sense. I went with what I thought they were gonna pick. Not that I necessarily wanted Infinity War over First Man. I just went with that. Every year there's some I get wrong and I'm fine with, and that's one of them.
Yeah, I was more than glad to be wrong about this, because First Man was one of my favorite movies of the year. I'm glad I got some recognition.
So,
still wish it could have been for more, but
yeah,
VFX will do.
Yeah.
Wow, we're getting right into this.
One of the worst edited films of the year.
Ironically, wins for editing.
Oh, that was I thought it was Vice, just because the Vice's editing is so good, but they give it to
So I want to say the word Bo Crap.
Bo crap. Hashtag Bo crap. That's what I call it.
Yep.
Because it really is not a movie.
Nope. How on earth this one editing completely baffles me. It was one of the worst edited movies of the year, and it wins in a what?
Yeah.
What?
Now, to be clear, there are probably a big handful of movies way worse in editing.
Okay, that's fair.
So we're probably just exaggerating, but out of those nominees, which between the two of us, we've seen all of those, and that was by far the worst one of the pack.
Oh, hands down, it was. That was the when you can't hold on to a shot for longer than 5 seconds. It means you don't know how to edit. Yeah. Some are longer, some are shorter.
Or it comes down to the planning stage. That scene that's been going around Twitter, the outdoor scene where they're cutting to different angles. It's like, no, that was planned. They planned out all these angles, and it's either what I'm thinking is it's either, hey, look how many angles we can get, which is just poor execution. Or they don't have the length of it, so they're cutting to cover mistakes.
That's the only thing. It comes down to two things. Either the editor is not confident in their actors, and they have to cut around the acting to hide it, or to cut around any mistakes that's going on, or the editor just simply doesn't understand the idea that, hey, just because you took a shot does not mean you have to use it. You can throw it away and it'll be okay. And it seems like it feels like they legit put every single thing they filmed into the movie. You don't do that. That's not how you edit a film.
And they know what they're doing more than me and you do.
Oh, sure they do.
So
yeah.
then it always is a testament to people in Hollywood when the fans and the consumers of the product can point things out better. It's one thing to have the obsessed people who spend day and night looking for it. It's another thing when right away people can find an example of something that's wrong.
Exactly. When kids who go to film school know more than your people that actually worked on the movie, that's not good. No, they should. I'm gonna say I'm okay with this. So people are going to know more than me. That's fine. But if I know more than the editor, if I could edit this movie better than...
Or find something that's easy to fix.
Or even find something that's easier to fix.
Apparently, we don't know why... It could come down to they didn't have enough footage.
Yeah, exactly. It could just come down to that, too.
And that just comes down to the whole Bryan Singer controversy stuff.
Yeah.
So we won't dwell on this anymore.
Nope,
they gave it to a crappy movie. Bull crap is what we've been calling it because it's a piece of garbage.
It did not deserve that whatsoever.
Yeah, there's just other awards that it got we'll get to, and I understand, but this one was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, even the actual Live Aid footage is better.
It is. You don't edit... I'm sorry to move on, but you don't edit something to look like an actual concert. You edit it to look cinematic. You edit it to follow your characters. You edit it to tell a story. Not to look cool!
No.
Oh, that one bothers me.
But we both got it wrong, and that's one of those, you could say it's on us for getting it wrong, we should have known, but that was in the back of my mind at winning. I did not think, I thought, if anything, they'd give it to Black Klansman.
That's the one that I could have seen it going to. I could have seen it going to Black Klansman, or even
the favorite.
Green Book.
Basically the rest of the category.
Yeah, literally anything else except for Vice. Anything.
Costume design was one of those that we both got wrong, and it's understandable because the costumes were very good. Black Panther got costume design?
Yeah.
Sure, whatever.
The amount of world building that went behind that movie to make the different clans and just even the throne room and stuff like that, like their the royalty dresses and kind of stuff. I get it looked dope. I'm not going to be upset by that winning. Granted, I thought a period piece would have the edge.
Yep, and I felt the favorites' costumes were better, but they're gonna favor those movies.
And like I said, this one did not upset me that much. I was
upset I got one wrong.
True. I was upset I was wrong.
That's an example of I'm upset because I'm wrong. I'm not upset because of what won. So
yeah, pretty much.
That's all I really have to say about that. I thought the favorites' costumes were a little better, but it's close. Ruth Carter's costumes for Black Panther are really good. Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. They were good enough.
I'm just sad that now Marvel has more Oscars than the DCEU.
I know.
Because that was a great meme.
It was a glorious time to be alive. It really was.
Marvel, before this year's 0 for 10, and the DCEU was 1 for 1.
So...
makeup and hairstyling, we got right. It was Vice.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be really short on this again. I wanted him to be fat. I realized without that they wouldn't have won the Oscar, but representation.
That's fair. That's fair. But when you can make someone like Christian Bale look that fat without him actually being that fat, that's why it won.
Yeah, it's just one of those that had it hands down. He looks
there was no way anything else was going to come close to that. There was just no way. That's one of the least surprising ones.
Yeah, and we got that right.
Yeah, we both got it right.
It was like the second or third one of the night, and I'm like, let's go.
Like, I got one right. I got to get something here. I got to get something. Yeah.
Let's look at this next category.
The next one, I'm upset to say it. I understand why the Academy chose Roma for cinematography. I understand because Cuarón, it was his first time. I'm pretty sure it was the first time anybody won for director and cinematographer
in 1 year.
In 1 year,
or maybe at all. I don't know.
I think it's at all. I'm fairly certain, and that's why I think they gave him the push. I still think the favorite was lit better, but again, and I just recently saw Cold War. And that was also 100% deserving.
Yeah, you've seen all but one in this category.
Yep, I have never seen Never Look Away. That's the one that I have not seen yet.
But that's the Zoe and Emily's dad. Is his dad, right? Caleb Deschanel's their dad, right?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I thought that's the connection.
Wow.
Because he's been around a while.
That is one talented family.
So. But I will say, one of us here got this category right, and he's sitting right here, and the one that got it wrong is sitting across from me.
Yes.
After rubbing in.
I got it wrong.
Moment, it's like, I told you, and you wouldn't listen to me. You wouldn't let your own category. You wouldn't listen to me. I understand what your expertise is, but you got to go with what you think is going to win, not what you want to win.
Yeah, that was my mistake for a couple things.
You got 10. You got 10 right. You know why you got 10 right? Because you got personal.
I did.
I got 14 right because they chose some pretty stupid ones.
They definitely chose some pretty dumb ones, but again, I get it. I get why they chose this.
I feel from what I've seen, the whole category is great.
Oh, that's what I need to see Never Look Away really bad, because that's the one that I have not seen. And yeah, all of them are gorgeous. Cold War it's hard to shoot in black and white, and they made it look really good too.
Well, production design we both got wrong because we chose the better one.
Because we chose one that actually used actual sets and not just green and blue screen. That's a concept, right?
So, just Black Panther winning production design. I was mad because I was wrong, but I was also upset because remembering that movie, that's not something I remembered. And then what they showed was the
throne room. That was the.
That's it.
Yeah, that was the one that probably gave, because everything else was
fake,
mostly CG. Well, that's the one thing they won.
That casino place that they go to. They showed that during the ceremony. That was their example clip. I go, it's fine. It looks like the place from Skyfall.
Yeah.
I don't know why this, because the favorite, there's detail everywhere, and some people might say, well, you know, it's all that stuff was already there anyway because they filmed in a real castle. I'm like, but still, you still have to dress it up. You still have to change. It looks so much better. That's where I get mad. It's score and costume design for Black Panther. Sure,
I get it. It makes sense.
But production, they look fake.
The actual sets themselves, I'll say that they look decent.
Yeah,
but the amount of actual sets they use was minimal compared to the favorite. They use mostly CG to shoot that. And when a movie like that wins production design that is used mostly CG,
it's almost like it's unfair.
It's unfair. It is. You're completely right.
It's like in grade school when you're all making T-shirt designs in a contest. And one person does a hand-drawn one, and it's really good.
Yep.
But we choose the one that someone did on a computer because it looks sharper. It's yeah.
It's when you use a computer, it's going to look that way. Obviously, it's not going to be the same as the favorite who actually built stuff and puts Oh yeah,
that's one of those.
That bothers me.
It doesn't bother me as much as film editing, but that's still one where it's that's one of those where, in a perfect world, I would have gotten that one right.
I agree. I definitely would have got that. And I could have even seen for that Roma winning. I could have.
Or first, the whole category is good. I think Black Panther's the weakest one in that category.
I completely agree.
Mary Poppins, the sets were great because they look fake.
Granted,
but they're supposed to.
Yeah.
They're supposed to look stylized and whimsical.
And granted, I haven't seen much of the behind the scenes stuff for Mary Poppins. I don't know how much of that actually had to use CGI or green and blue screen.
But it looked great.
But yeah, and that's where I have to give the edge to ones that can't rely on super high budgets and people able to manipulate stuff in the post production process. When you have to put all that effort into actual production, into set dressing, those are the types of films that should win production design.
Yeah, we're gonna keep moving. We're gonna double up on the sound because again we're not sound guys, and they gave it to the same movie. We both went First Man, which was infinitely better than what they picked, to the best of our knowledge. But hashtag BoCrap won both. It makes sense, but man, did I not? That's another one where I don't think it should have won, and I'm mad that I got them wrong. So I should have went at least one of them, but nope.
And if the Academy is doing this based off of incorporating music into a movie, A Star Is Born did it better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
How
Roma did it better. Roma's sound design is incredible.
that was absolutely incredible. That's one I could have seen winning as well.
First Man's was incredible.
Or even I heard people talking about A Quiet Place for editing.
Yeah,
it makes sense because like where you have to place it, that's gonna be.
Yeah. The other thing is with Black Panther, it's like here's a couple of those where we didn't talk about much. I'm not, again, we're not sound guys, but it's the same thing that Marvel's done for 10 years.
It's not really,
and I think like one of the Iron Mans was in this category, but just like, why now? There's a good like 6, 7, 8 Marvel movies better than Black Panther that didn't get recognized. It's like, and I understand some years are more competitive, but it just goes to show how barren this year was in terms of like big names for the Oscars, because there are a lot of movies left out, like completely snubbed, that I feel were much better than what we got. It just goes to it's a bookend to an underwhelming year.
I completely agree. It's the Academy just trying to reach for more viewership, and they're reaching for it in the wrong places.
Yep, they are. Original song, it was going to be Shallow. They had it in the bag. It's a fantastic song. Their performance was one of the highlights of the show.
Their performance, holy crap. Are you sure they aren't actually together?
I know. What did some? I thought I saw someone on Twitter say, like, and while he was singing that, Bradley Cooper got a very long text message from his wife. Something like that.
That's why it reminded me, a post I saw was after seeing that, someone posted, my wife started ovulating.
It's just that great performance. It's a great song from a good movie. We'll leave it at that. It had it in the bag.
There's no, like you said, there's no way in hell that could have not won.
Yeah, just
hands down, that had to win.
And score was one of those where I don't know if I call it the best because it's pretty close, but I'm perfectly fine with Black Panther winning because again, it's the same basic score Marvel's always done, just with added African sound effects
they
and
had
drums,
some little more drum beats and stuff
some
like
of the more sound effecty set. Like, I get it. It isn't just your basic formulaic soundtrack. I get that, but is it anything spectacular out there original? No, but it's really good.
No, but
I'm fine with Ludwig and his luscious locks.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea what he looked like. He went up there and I'm like, look at that hair. It looks great.
That's some Swedish hair.
Yeah, so it's again real short on that category. Just that's one I got right, and you didn't.
No, I did not. I thought which one? I think
you went Black Klansman.
Yeah.
So,
which again, I thought Black Klansman really had a great way of showing that it was of those times, but I guess Black Panther did the same thing and made it feel African.
Yeah, and it's more current.
Yeah, it's more current. That's also what it was.
And we'll really go fast through these short films. Just Bao one animated feature, that was again, a given.
What else?
We both got that right.
Yep.
Live action, I think you went Mother because you didn't really research it. Nope. I read that Skin was about racism, so I picked it and it won. And
there you go.
Got really excited.
Makes sense there.
I thought it had something to do with like a tattoo. It looked like the guy got like a complete body tattoo.
I have no clue. Yeah.
It looked weird, but I kind of am interested to watch it.
Huh, interesting.
Documentary short subject, I was kicking myself during my live stream because period end of sentence 1, and it's one of those like I looked at what the topic is, I go, you idiot, of course that's gonna win.
That's
because that's an important thing. Like when you hear about the subject matter, you're like, that's a horrible thing. What is it like? Is it something to do with? It's with periods and stuff like that. Yeah, something about you can't go to school or something another.
It's a little more feminine leaning when you look.
But it's like that's an interesting thing to watch for a short subject like that. Yeah, more than but like
it's really captivating.
It's something like I'd watch that. It sounds interesting because that's not right. It's not right that stuff is happening. But when you think about it, you're like, of course that's going to win. Why would I pick anything else? So should have picked that. I went Lifeboat and you went Black Sheep.
Yep.
Did you just pick Black Sheep because everything else had black in the title?
Maybe.
Like Black Klansman and Black Panther.
Potentially.
Just to keep it. And then, of course, Free Solo got documentary. I think that was the second award handed out. And I was just yep, I'm 2 for 2 at that point.
I was like, woo, got that one. So that one didn't surprise me too much either.
Should have nominated Mr. Rogers.
Oh, of course they should have nominated. And didn't they? And they when they did like their whole like
the year in review, and they had it in there.
They showed them like, wow. Yep, I see how it is, Academy. Way to go.
Yep. Foreign language, real short again. It was Roma.
Surprise!
Had it in the back. Of course, you've seen Cold War now, so
I would say, honestly, Roma is better than Cold War, but
you liked Cold War better.
I personally think I like Cold War better,
which is fine.
And it's a simple story. It's a love story.
Okay.
But the way the story,
cool.
It's very cold. But the way the story is told through snippets in life, it doesn't have like Roma has a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
And this one you see like the changing of his life, of the girl's life, and like you said, in the way it's told, in the way it's directed. I think I like that a little bit more.
Pawlikowski.
Pawlikowski. Pavel Pawlikowski.
Sure, yes. I think I got it down.
Yeah,
Roma had it. We both got it right.
Yep.
Same with the next category. Spider-Man got it. Lord and Miller have Oscars now. They finally do.
It's about time. I'm so glad
it was a good category. Again,
it was.
There's part of me that was scared they were going to give it to Incredibles 2 because I like Incredibles 2, but it's Spider-Man's award. It was
Spider-Man's award, but honestly, I had seen. I'm pretty sure this was after I made my picks. Is when I saw Isle of Dogs.
What do you think?
And I think that was probably the runner-up. I think it was miles better than Incredibles 2. And so, in the back of my head, which obviously, I had 10 right, so apparently I don't know what they're thinking. But I think it should have, that was probably the runner-up because of how great that was constructed.
I think I tell people, I like Isle of Dogs better than Spider-Man, but I recognize Spider-Man is probably the superior film, and plus Spider-Man does more for animation because of what they did to change things. And
exactly.
It's like, yeah, I could see why that one. I'm glad that one. I'm not. If did I by that. I enjoy Isle of Dogs better, but that's my personal taste.
Yeah.
So now we get into the screenplay awards.
Oh yeah.
So
finally
Spike Lee finally got his Oscar.
His Oscar,
and it was for adapted screenplay for BlacKkKlansman.
Yep.
It was a moment where I was happy for him because I know he's been slighted. I know he hasn't won an Oscar.
Exactly.
He finally got one.
He deserves it.
And him jumping on Samuel L. Jackson was hilarious.
I love that.
He's just this short little Waluigi.
It was
the awards.
It was like it was a quick bromance, and I dig it, and I dug it a lot.
But just Spike Lee just bothers me as a person because I like his movies. I find him irritating.
Which is fair. And I actually heard about this. I was following another podcast about the Oscars, and they were saying when it came to actually writing this, so it was also into Charlie Watchell and David
Rabinowitz.
Thank you. And those are the two that actually wrote the script. And then Spike Lee and Kevin Wilmot went in and they revised it up a little bit. They made the changes.
So it's one of those, someone wrote the script, they decide to make the movie, they change enough of it to where they have to be credited, so then all four are credited.
And apparently...
But of course it's probably for the better, because he probably...
Because
of the movie that we got.
Probably it was. I'm not going to deny that it probably was, but they were, the core people that helped write it, and they did not have, any chance to talk whatsoever, because Spike Lee kind of took over the mic and took it from there. Which I would have liked to see if they would have been able to at least show their faces and have a little bit more recognition.
Yeah, but it was a big moment for Spike Lee.
It was. It absolutely was.
We'll get to him. Just his behavior later is really funny, but also really.
It's a little childish, to be honest. It is.
It's kind of a big baby. So
yeah.
Yeah, but again, I like his movies.
The dude's a talented filmmaker. He really is.
Yeah, just one of those things.
I definitely agree with you on that one.
Now, original screenplay. Everyone's been memeing up Samuel L. Jackson's reaction. And it's one of those I picked the favorite, and I felt the favorite was better. I hear First Reform was better. Roma was better. Vice, I would say, was even better. Just people are hating Green Book, and we'll get to that later.
I don't get the hate.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay,
that's more of But basically, the screenplay I thought was good. I feel like they gave it screenplay because they were going to give a picture.
Honestly,
I'd forgotten it won screenplay because if it didn't, it'd win 2 for supporting actor in picture. It's like
right. That would
we're gonna give picture to one that had one other award. Like it's just
that would be kind of weird.
What is it? Grand Hotel in the 30s won one award for best picture. It's a great movie. Just like
it's odd that it wins one and not. Which it makes sense because if you win best picture, you should obviously win other things because you're the best picture.
Yeah, but we had a string of them. Like I think Birdman had 4, Spotlight had 3.
Yeah.
Moonlight had 3. Like I think last year was 5, 4 or 5. So it's just the last couple of years because of the differences in how they vote for Best Picture. We get surprises and films that you could win 8 Oscars and not win Best Picture.
It's pretty interesting how that works. It comes with them like also using the preferential ballot and kind of how that works as well.
What is it like? La La Land had 6 and didn't win Best Picture. We know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Mad Max I think had 6 and didn't win. Not saying I haven't gotten that far yet in my reviews, but like Mad Max is another one. Won a ton of technical awards.
It won like all the technical awards.
Yeah, and all the design awards, and it deserved them. It's just like. Yep, it's going to be the big winner, but not actually
the
big winner.
But it won enough categories to make it stand out.
Yes, but Green Book winning original screenplay, I don't agree with. I went with the favorite. What did you go?
I'm pretty sure I did pick Green Book for that.
So yeah, you got that right.
I got that one right. That's what in the back of my head, and this is why I'm shooting myself for not picking it for Best Picture, because I thought that was the perfect safe pick. And and
you're just like, no, it can't be that. It can't be that.
That's.
But we'll get to it in a second.
Yes.
Supporting actress went to Regina King, and I Told You So.
You got me there.
That was one like right before the Globes. Everyone's like, oh, Regina King's getting it, and then during the Globe, she gets it. And then in the aftermath, it's like, yeah, it's not even close. And then here, you sit all high and mighty over. It's going to be Rachel Weisz for the favorite.
I thought there was a decent. Well, I was correct about one Dark Horse. I was right about the actress one. I thought there was a chance that I could be right about 2. I did.
But you just that one was like, come on. This time the safe pick is like it was almost as bad as Shallow. Like how everyone knew what it was going to be. Shallow was way more favored than like way more of a landslide. But I'm just saying Regina King had it in the bag. And fair clip they showed, I was like, wow.
Yeah, the clip
a lot of gusto and a lot of power in that 30-second clip. I want to see the whole movie.
I really need to see the whole movie.
So, poor Amy Adams is now 0 for 6, I think.
Yeah. So. I mean, at least she's still picked up a bunch of noms, so that's impressive alone.
Yeah. But
the fact that she just hasn't yet to win. She's got to win sooner or later. She deserves it. She really does. Yeah.
Supporting actor, we both got. I think everyone on the face of the earth got it right.
Every single person.
So it was it wasn't even close. Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen are the 2 best parts of Green Book.
Oh, hands
down.
And
Mahershala had the easier category because they're all good performances. I'm just saying Mahershala had the better chance of winning his.
When you look at his competition, except for compared to Viggo's, he did that much. I'm not trying to slam Adam Driver, Sam Elliott, Richard Grant, or Sam Rockwell. They all did good jobs in their role. But Mahershala actually stood out when it came to everyone else, and that's why he deserves it.
Also, I was reading an article because I was just wondering where all the Green Book hate was coming from. I was just curious. Because am I happy that it won? No. But I was curious why people were hating it. And I was reading this article, and it was saying how, how it's racist for the for I think it was Nick Vallelonga and all them and Peter Farrelly to why is Mahershala the supporting actor and Viggo the lead actor? Shouldn't they both be lead? And I just look at that and I go, do you know how you are a writer for a fairly big online magazine thing? Do you know how this works? If they both are in the best actor category, it's very hard to win for one of them. So my thought is, if you make Viggo is basically the main character. They're both main characters, but Viggo, it's through his family's perspective.
It's through his perspective.
So if you put Viggo in the best actor category, because it's how you submit them. You have to submit them for your consideration stuff.
It comes down to, the way the
production company it's the studio probably telling the Green Book team, hey, when we submit these, we're going to put Mahershala in the supporting category because he has a better chance of winning. And he won.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And that magazine, I'm just thinking, I get your other points, you're making sense, but this is one point I think you're reaching because that's a studio thing. The studio is the one that's saying, hey, this is what we're going to push for. Because they're the ones that help you with your your awards campaign. So
yeah, exactly.
I just had to get that out of my system. He was great in that movie. I'm glad he won. He has 2 in 3 years, 4 years, something like that. So
yeah, because
2 and 3 years, yeah.
Yeah,
2016.
3 years, 2016.
So yeah, he's won 2 supporting actor Oscars already. So
yeah.
And I heard his True Detective season was fantastic.
I need to start watching that. I've heard it was absolutely incredible.
So, Best Actress, you got this right. Woo-hoo! I did not. I think everyone thought Glenn Close was finally going to win. She's 0 for 7. She is the most recognized actress in the history of the Academy Awards to not win.
Yeah.
Everyone else has at least 1, or they're 0 for 6 or less. So I think it was like Deborah Carr and Thelma Ritter and maybe a couple others like 0 for 6. Nope, now she's 0 for 7. I felt bad. But Olivia Colman winning was great, and her speech was incredible.
I loved her speech, absolutely. That's one of the reasons that I was glad she won. And again, I thought she was going to win just purely because she wasn't as expected, and I think to a point you're right. You said there's a lot of people that were 0 for 6. I figured if you're looking at an actress like Glenn Close, or just any actress in general for that matter, if they're over 6, why even give them one? They're already at a losing record, and so we should go to.
Well, my thought was, because I think it was like, oh, there's someone else. I'm trying to think who it was. Like they just had loss after loss. Because people say Leo, but people forget Leo. It was only like 3 or 4.
It wasn't
that
many.
as much as others.
Yeah, no, it was not at all.
But it's like part of me is like, oh, I wish Glenn Close finally would have won. But I'm perfectly happy with Olivia Colman winning because that means the favorite actually got an award.
Exactly. I am so glad the favorite won for at least that. It should have picked up more. It absolutely should have.
Yep, should have at least had 3 more.
Yeah, but at least it got something.
Yep. And of course, Best Actor, I got it right, and you didn't.
You got that one.
I told you, and it's not even a safe pick. It was like the only pick. He had it in the bag.
And
that's not saying he's the best. I'm just saying
But when it comes to that, when you look at people, everyone was saying, Glenn Close has it in the bag. Glenn Close has it in the bag. Olivia Colman won. And so I thought I could have the same chance of picking. Obviously I got it wrong. But in my mind, I was like, I'm going to take the dark horse purely for a chance to beat you in the end.
How'd that go?
Well, yeah, it didn't
Usually people, when they lose to me or I lose to them, it's by like 1 or 2. You lost by 4.
Yeah. I was like, a little more risky when it came to my picks. That's really what it was.
Big chunk, but yeah. Rami's the best part of that quote-unquote movie. It's a clip show of poor editing and bad story structure. And
I guess if you can carry a movie as much as he did, that's why you deserve to have it.
And even then, like towards the end, you're getting sick of him. Because he's supposed to be a straight-up prick.
I mean, that was the point.
Yeah, and and there's a lot of historical inaccuracies that Queen themselves said, yeah, that's not how it happened, but this is how we want to tell it.
Because who are some of the producers of the movie? The members in Queen themselves.
Yep.
So that's shocker.
Yep.
They don't want them to be the bad guys.
Yep.
They want Freddie.
But he carried most of the movie, so that's why he won. Perfectly fine. Great actor.
Yeah, it makes sense. It does.
Director, I think everyone on the planet got
knew.
And that's what had me, like, because for a while I thought it was going to be Bullcrap getting Best Picture. I was scared, because at first it was Black Panther. I was getting scared, like, it's going to start picking up more awards and win, and that would be bleh.
I thought for sure for a second, I was like,
and then it's like Bullcrap has actor and 3 technical awards. Watch them give it to that. But then Roma won director. It's like it has cinematography, director, and foreign film. That's pretty good.
That is
there we go. It's going to win 4, and I was so sure. And I'm so happy Alfonso has his second.
Oh, I am so glad
the 3 amigos, as they call themselves, 5 out of the last 6.
I love that, and that's what bothers me sometimes when people say that the Oscars are not inclusive at all. You gotta look at the director. Literally, a Mexican director won for like the last 5 out of 6 years.
Yep.
Come on.
I do agree, though. Like, I think if I had to change one thing, I would drop Adam McKay, and from everything I hear, add Lynn Ramsey for You Were Never Really Here. So I hear great things about it. I hear Joaquin is great, and her direction's great. I think she won Best Director, didn't she? Was it Cannes?
She won it for something, I know.
But basically, like, when people are talking about being inclusive to women as well in Best Director, it's like, it's like Oscars. There's your perfect opportunity, because she's proved herself, and she made a movie that people everywhere were liking, outside the U.S., and it didn't have a good release here. That's probably why.
Because I know it's an Amazon film, but I don't know.
I hear the score is great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I really want to see it, and it's been nowhere around here.
I'm probably, honestly, I'm probably going to go back tonight, and I'm going to watch it, because I am very curious, too.
But just sorry to cut you out, just, if the Oscars want to be inclusive, how about you include things like that, and not things like bullcrap and Black Panther?
Honestly,
again...
I can't agree with you anymore.
Widows and Beale Street, those are black directors with great films this year that you could have included. Sorry to Bother You got shut out. There are other options. You don't have to pick Black Panther.
You don't have to pick something that was just... And again, I think they did that because it's popular.
Yep, that's basically it.
That's really the only reason, because there's
part
better...
of me wants that category now, so then Black Panther would have won Best Popular Film instead of... and then we could just say, well, Infinity War made more money.
If crap like this is going to happen where they nominate popular films for Best Picture just to get viewership, then honestly, make a popular thing. No one's going to take it seriously when it comes to, like, the actual film industry, but people... And that's what... I know we're pretty much moving on to Best Picture now, but that is one thing that really, really, really bothered me, is seeing the Oscars, seeing the Academy advertise. I seen it pop up on Facebook. I seen it pop up on Twitter. I seen them say, "Wakanda Forever, join us on Sunday to see if they win Best Picture." Are you kidding me?
It's a commercial.
That is so that makes it so painfully obvious. The only reason they nominated it was to advertise it and was to get people to come watch.
Yep.
That is the only reason. I mean, granted, it deserved for costume design and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That stuff, the technical stuff, I get it. I think it should have been nominated for those. When you look at something like Best Picture, like one of the best films of the entire year, and you're going to give it to a comic book, Black Panther? No.
So neither of us got this right.
No,
and it should have been Roma. My runner-up is The Favorite. I would also, be fine if it was Black Klansman. Be fine if it was A Star Is Born. Vice winning, people would be mad about, but I wouldn't be mad. But the thing about Green Book winning, it's like, and this was said. A friend of mine said this perfectly. They played it safe. They spent the entire evening pissing everybody off.
Yeah.
And then having some good picks and being inclusive, just to go back to their old whoop-de-doop Academy Award safe Best Picture pick.
Honestly, that's 100% true. I'm not upset that Green Book won.
Just kind of a meh.
Because, don't get me wrong, when I watched Green Book, I loved it. This legit is one of my favorite movies of the year. I loved it that much.
But on a critical level, it's like, this is not the things that should be recognized for Best Picture.
But when you look at things that are pushing the industry forward, when you look at something like Roma being made by Alfonso...
Or Black
Klansman. Or, no, I'm not going to say A Star Is Born. But just... Which was good. It was really good.
It didn't really say anything new, though.
But it didn't say anything new, and that's what Roma did. Roma, and again, I'm looking more technically at it. When you have a director who's also doing the cinematography work, that's impressive. That deserves to be known, and obviously it was known. It got the win for cinematography and directing. I just thought that would be enough to push it towards Best Picture, especially because it was a foreign film, and I know that's not for everyone, having to read subtitles and stuff like that. But when you can, when a single frame can make you feel so much emotion without having any talking at all, that's what Roma did, and that's what I think really made it stand out.
And the controversy comes down to how the film depicts racism, because racism in these types of movies have been depicted the exact same way since,
It has.
The late 80s.
It wasn't anything new, yeah.
And people point at the white savior thing, it's like, there's two sides of that, because part of me is like, I get that. And then the other side is like, well, he's kind of his bodyguard in the Deep South. That's kind of going to happen.
When that's the whole movie, what else can happen? It's... I don't understand people that are upset by that. I really... you have to look at where the story comes from. The story itself It's about him being his bodyguard, and it's about...
And there is
He is racist at the beginning. He threw away...
A little cookie cutter, though. A little bit cookie cutter on the movies. I will give it
fair.
that.
That is fair.
The glasses in the trash.
That's what I was going to point out.
I like how it's subtle.
Glasses.
I like how it was subtle. It could have been very, very blunt, very blatant, and then at the end, it's like, oh, look at this complete change. Instead, they went the subtler route. I like that. Mm-hmm. It is a very personal movie for Nick Vallelonga.
It is. It absolutely is.
The whole thing is like, you get the politics behind the scenes are like, from what has allegedly been known. I could be wrong or outdated by now, but Doc Shirley's family claimed that no one on the film consulted them. So already you got one perspective on this coming from the kid of the guy who was there. And there's already things people saying didn't actually happen. At the same time, apparently Nick Vallelonga, who was in contact with Doc Shirley before he passed, was saying how Doc Shirley, this is what I read, didn't want him to consult his family. Because he was like asking about making a movie. It was something like that. Like, again, I might not have the best sources, but I thought I heard that's what Nick Vallelonga claimed. Like, he was abiding by the wishes of a dying man. Something like that. Like, he had brought the project to his attention and said, I don't want my family consulted. So we have, it's a he says, she says, like Vallelonga saying this, and then everyone else is over here saying, well, we weren't consulted, and Mahershala apologized, which I don't think he really needed to, but it's a nice gesture.
It is, yeah.
And he's in a tough spot because he has to defend the movie, and he has to defend his nomination and win, but he's also got to abide by the real family and the real people.
Right, absolutely.
It basically comes down to, it's a mess. At the current moment, we don't know.
There's no way, yeah.
And that's why I'm not mad about it, because some people are like, well, look at these, this backdoor white savior, outdated anti-racism message that makes white people feel good about not being racist or something. And it's like, I understand. Also, this is a cookie-cutter, crowd-pleasing, historical movie that middle-aged people go to theaters at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesdays and Thursdays to watch.
Oh, believe me. Yeah.
So is it a bad movie? No. Would I consider it a good movie? Yes. Does it do much for, like, social issues and stuff? No. Is it a nice story? Yes. Is it 100% accurate? No. Are there problems with how this actually happened? Yes. Was it enjoyable to watch and a crowd-pleasing experience?
It absolutely was.
And it basically comes down to, there's so much controversy and so much back and forth and the zigzagging around all this stuff. It just comes down to, this should not represent the best picture of the year.
No, it should not.
Is it the worst since Crash? No.
I'm not.
No.
Okay.
Is it as bad as Crash? No.
I saw that popping up a lot on my Twitter feed as well, and I want to point out that I think, comparing it to the Crash, no.
Crash.
When I look at it, and I know this did not win as many awards, but it's kind of like Spotlight. I would consider it, because Spotlight was like, it wasn't pushing. It wasn't like anything breakthrough.
It wasn't breakthrough.
It was.
It's not gonna. It has not aged well. It had nothing really going. Like, people were. There were some people predicting it for Best Picture, but there was like no momentum.
There wasn't any.
And when it won, it was just a big.
It was like, oh.
And the winner is Spotlight, and I just remember thinking like, oh, really? Huh. That was the same with Green Book. I was like,
yeah,
what?
It's just like, really.
And that's why the way they do Best Picture now is like, you're going to get these now. You're not going to have films dominate the Oscars anymore, and I like that.
Yeah.
Not every year, but they're trying to be against, the Return of the King stuff going 11 for 11. It's like, it's too predictable. It's like, I understand that every year, but you're going to get the next, 40 Best Pictures now, if you don't change anything, are going to be 2, 3, 4 wins. Whereas back in the day, you'd have some big ones. And those bring it, I bet you a good chunk of the audience was trying to see how many La La Land would win. Oh, the ratings were down that year because they had way too much filler.
They had a lot.
But the ratings went down. But there had to be a decent amount of people watching for the first time to see how well La La Land did, because it tied the record for nominations.
That's exactly what I think it was too. You're right.
So sometimes bulking up is good.
It can be good, but
it's kind of similar to sports. Like, we've had the same 2 teams in the NBA Finals 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
To us, that's annoying. In 5-10 years, when other teams have won and the dynasty is over, you look back and you go, actually, it's kind of cool that you have this one clump here that's kind of consistent. And that's how you look at Oscar winners. Like, you look back in the 50s and 60s, and some in the 70s, you had these
Yeah.
big films winning a ton of awards, and you look back and you go, that's pretty impressive. In the moment, you're mad because you're like, that's going to get everything? So it's one of those things like, maybe it will be different later if we have these bulky ones. Except for Titanic, it sucks. Anyway.
I love Titanic.
But you get what I'm trying to say.
No, I honestly, yeah, I totally get that.
It just comes down to we got to change how we vote for Best Picture.
Yeah, the preferential ballot is it just because that's where it adds up like everyone's like top 5, and if something got a good amount of number 1s, but that's about it. It's not going to beat out something that has like every single person's number 2 or number 3.
They also have this prestige thing where they don't want to fill up all 10 spots because it's got to be the best.
It has to be.
But there's a giant list of movies that I compiled from what I've seen in word of mouth that could have filled in those 2 gaps and gotten rid of Black Panther and Bull Crap and Vice.
Exactly.
And Green Book even. Like, you start going down the list. First Man. Even Infinity War. I wouldn't really necessarily want it there.
No.
But I wouldn't be as mad for, like, Bull Crap being in there.
I wouldn't. No, not at all.
The Mule is one that I would not nominate for Best Picture, but that got no awards attention. Mid-90s had no attention. 8th Grade got shut out.
8th Grade was... That
Crazy Rich Asians, even they want to talk about being diverse, it didn't get anything.
True.
I'm just going off of like word of mouth.
Yeah.
Death of Stalin, there's one. Annihilation didn't get anything.
I loved Annihilation. I think they could have picked up director as well.
People, like First Reformed only getting 1 when everyone says it's like Ethan Hawke's triumph. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can compile this list of things that can be included or be included more, but instead you're going with bull crap.
Yeah.
So, but
well, yeah.
that's our opinion on the 2019 Oscars, the 91st Academy Awards. I thought I've read multiple sources, so the ratings went up.
Yeah. I heard that.
Not by much.
They did.
They went because of the how much of a joke. Because let's face it, the last few years they've done things the Oscars have made decisions to be a bigger joke than they already were.
Yeah.
This year has kind of solidified them as a giant farce.
That
because
is
the things they chose and the things they nominated and how things went down, and the making decisions and taking them back days later. They are a farce. They are a giant joke now to me. I'm still gonna follow and still gonna be into them. It's just now it's like if they're gonna make dumb decisions, it's just like, well, that's the Oscars. They're gonna be stupid.
I completely agree about that. Just the amount of mess that was behind them. That's part of the reason why people tuned in.
Yeah,
it's because it is a mess.
Well, this is Lee Jareeve and Mr. Dickey here with our Oscars recap. We said we'd keep it under an hour, and I'm keeping my word on that. I got 14 right. He got 10 right. I got Best Picture wrong for the 4th time in 6 years. I'm just so bad at guessing Best Picture because I actually choose something that probably deserves it usually. So, not saying I'm the sees all, know all thing. It's just I usually make a stupid decision, or like this year, I choose something that should win and was better and didn't, and everyone actually thought was going to win. But here we are anyway. Thank you for being on this recap.
I'm glad to come back and voice my opinions on
stuff.
On all of that, yeah.
And next year, we'll see if you can actually beat me, because right now, you're 0-2 against me.
I am 0-2. I'll have to step up my game next year.
But thanks for listening. Have a good one.